snow, it's big storm tomorrow. Are we
Yep.
considering canceling classes ahead of 5 a.m.?
Well, we're always working to make a very thoughtful and intentional decision, and making a school delay or a school cancellation decision for approximately 30,000 kids and almost 6,000 employees has enormous impacts across our community. For our students that rely on our schools for basic needs, whether that's meals or support services, but also we know there is an impact to our working families anytime we talk about not having school on a particular day or delaying the start of school. So we have a team that's working really hard. They're watching that forecast closely. Obviously, we're aware that there is some pretty significant accumulation that's predicted, and really what we're looking and focusing on is getting everybody safely to school and making sure that transportation is as safe as it possibly can be for our students, our staff, and our families. So we'll make a decision when we feel like we have the best grasp of what the conditions are going to be for that school dropout and school return. And the conditions can sometimes change pretty quickly and can be unpredictable, and so we're trying to be as mindful as that as possible, and we're always balancing giving as much advance notice as we possibly can with making the most appropriate decision possible. And so that's really predicated on what those weathering models look like and what the conditions are when we get to that decision point. We have teams that go out and they start driving at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, checking those conditions. And so we start taking in that information, and we work really closely with our city partners. They do an incredible job helping us make sure our routes to school are as prepared as possible. So there's also coordination with them as well.
If things look good in the morning and then kids get to school fine, and then like halfway through the school day things get bad, is there a chance at an early release? Like, is that an option?
Typically, unless there is a really historic accumulation during the school day, sending kids home early sometimes can introduce more safety risks than the commute home. Typically, if there is an accumulation after the start of school, that gives plows some time to catch up, really focus on those school routes, and make sure that our transportation services can be chained up and ready to go. So it does really depend on the condition, although that would be a fairly historic school day accumulation for us to send kids home early. We're also really mindful that from a safety perspective, sending students home when parents aren't home from work yet can also introduce a safety risk for our families. And so we just have to be mindful that we're all one community, and the school district is part of that very intimate connective tissue with our workforce that are in our businesses each and every day, as well as our schools. And so we just we have to be really mindful of the impact and making sure we can get kids home safe, and then they're safe when they get there and they have supervision.